Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Dan Maloney. I'm director of the Louisville Zoo. We're here for a great celebration, not only of our appropriation, first-time appropriation from the state, but also to celebrate the natural and wild heritage of Kentucky as we start to move forward on our Kentucky Trails project. We just visited the site. There's 20 undeveloped acres here at the zoo. It's a gift for us for sure, and it really is an opportunity for us to help people understand and appreciate what kind of treasures are in our state. My wife Laura and I are newcomers to the state, and we're trying to get out and visit more of the areas. And we bought a home in the Cherokee Triangle, and Mayor Fisher had said to me early on, you need to get out in the state and see more of what's going on and visit all the great areas. I said, I can't even get up to Bardstown Road, Mr. Mayor. I'm trying my best to get up there, but we're pretty busy right now, but I do intend to get out there. So we're very fortunate to have Mayor Fisher here with us today, President Stivers, Senator Rocky Adams, and Councilman Piagentini. They are big friends of ours, and our chair, Cheryl Snyder, who's our foundation chair. The kind of support we have in this community and in the state is really remarkable. We see ourselves here at the zoo not only as a place where people can come and view and enjoy the 1,200 non-human residents of the zoo, but we're an educational institution with tens of thousands of school children coming to visit us each year. We're a botanical garden. We're a conservation center. Our black-footed ferret program has been the second most successful in the country, and zoos have helped save those animals. We're also a successful business. We raise 80% of our operating funding, and we're proud to do that. We see ourselves as a state treasure. We were declared the State Zoo of Kentucky in 1981, and to that end, we have forged a very successful partnership with the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources. We have some of our friends here from the department, and we're going to be working in areas, land between the lakes, Cumberlandia, and other areas around the state. I'd like to turn it over to President Stivers. He and the General Assembly saw fit to get us the $10 million, and we can't thank he and Senator Adams enough. Thank you. Come on down, President. And our snow leopard. The animals are on an honor system, so if they see them running around, you tell them to get back in right away.
Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation, and to the snow leopard, as I said, out where we were visiting where the expansion and innovations are going to take place. If you're hungry, Julie is by far more tastier than I am. And I think Councilman Piagentini, we were talking about that. I don't have to be the fastest guy in the crowd. I just make sure I'm not the slowest if he gets out. I'm assuming that's a he, but I'm not so sure but that's an amazing animal. I mean, are y'all seeing this? Because it's right behind your head. Yeah, now it's licking his head. This is totally off script, but I've never seen an animal that close like that, so it's a little disconcerting. I do see some lions and tigers and bears in the Senate chamber, but not literally up close and personal today. So, no, appreciate the opportunity to come out. I want to talk a little bit about the process. You know, there's various things that happen. We've been fortunate because we've been very structurally sound in our budgeting. As people in government know, the power of the purse lays with the legislature. We were fortunate this year to have a lot of excess income because of what we've been able to do over the last 6 or 7 years and being disciplined in what we are doing and getting our expenses under control. And because of that and the surge of federal dollars that came in, we were fortunate to have a strong budget to where we were able to budget items into areas that will make a difference. And we have been taking our time going throughout Louisville and doing things for the city of Louisville and Jefferson County to make sure it is strong. And it was kind of fortuitous the other day. I know Julie was there, Representative Rocky Adams, or Senator Rocky Adams, former representative, sorry. Listened to Kenny Payne the other day, and he was talking about how people were encouraging him to take the position of the basketball coach at U of L to make sure that the program was successful, because that's needed to make the university successful, and the university is needed to make the city of Louisville be successful. And it's something that I think parallels what we have felt and I have felt. I come from Manchester, southeast Kentucky, population 1,200. But I went to school here. My father, my brother, two of my children went to school here at the University of Louisville. And the sense of what Kenny Payne has said is what I have said for quite some time. For Kentucky to be strong, Louisville has to be strong. And the zoo is part of that strength. I was contacted by Cheryl Snyder, who I've known, I guess, 15, 16, 17 years. He's actually represented me in my official capacity, actually been against me in my official capacity sometimes too, when he was representing other governors against the legislature. But he reached out to me and talked about the need for doing this. But the big person who advocated for this, and it makes much sense, was Senator Julie Rocky Adams. In the process, as it goes through, we get to points in time where governor introduces the budget, House prepares theirs, and then all of it comes to the Senate, and then we, at a point in time, put the documents all together to come up with a final budget that the legislature passes. And in that, it was Julie, as well as her working with other individuals here in Jefferson County, that really said, you know, this is a big part of Jefferson County and Louisville. But from my perspective, coming from a small town, I've brought my children here. It's just not, as we have looked through all the things we have funded, it is just not Louisville-centric. It helps Louisville. It helps Jefferson County. It helps this county, which has a mission well beyond the geographic confines of Jefferson County. So with that, I'll go back to what I initially said and brought in, you know, Coach Payne. For Kentucky to be strong, Louisville has to be strong. And this is part of the strength of this city, this county, and this state. So glad to be here, glad to understand what the expansion means. It's great to see the wildlife. I'm a little more comfortable with the red-tailed hawk than I am the snow line leopard. As you can see, I'm not familiar with snow leopards. But it's an amazing day. It's something we're here to say as partners in the General Assembly. We know and we hear and we have continued to do a lot of positive things for this county because it means, and this city, because it means so much to the state. So thank you for inviting me out, participating in this. It's just a really good day to make sure we have a much stronger city and a much stronger state. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, President Stivers. One of the things of which we're most proud is we're the #1 paid not-for-profit attraction in the state. We're family friendly. We are a place where people can come and feel included. And I think this is one of the facts that resonated with Senator Julie Rocky Adams, and she has been a champion for us, and we really appreciate it. I'd like to bring her up right now and thank her personally.
You know, there's a lot of parts of this job that are really hard, but this part of the job is really cool, that we get to come out here and check out these awesome upcoming attractions that are just going to be a wonderful destination for so many families in our state, particularly Jefferson County. But like I said, you know, part of this job, we're in Frankfort, and people always say, well, why did you do that? Or how come you all did that? And why didn't you do that thing? Communication is so key to us doing our jobs effectively. And I have to give kudos to the zoo board because they were amazing. The outreach that they had with myself and other members of the legislature was tremendous in getting this funded. We can only do what we know to do. And so thank you so much for what you all have done in communicating with us about the fantastic project that we are getting ready to undertake. I remember sitting in my car. I had a meeting to go to, and Dan and Debbie King, they were calling me in the car, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm thinking about, 3 steps ahead where I needed to go. Then they started talking about this project, and I stopped. And I'm like, I'm for it. This is amazing. So I couldn't be more excited, and I couldn't be happier to advocate. Oh, the snow leopard's leaving. I think it liked Robert better than me. Hi. But I couldn't be more interested in advocating for a project of this nature because it really is fabulous. It is going to change the lives of so many families in our community because they're going to have this amazing place to visit. I mean, this really is such an innovative destination. And so thank you for all that you do. I'm proud to participate with you all. I'm proud to be your advocate, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Senator. The senator mentioned Debbie King, who's one of our most wonderful board members, committed board members. I also wanted to recognize not only Debbie, but John Hollis, Dr. John Hollis, who's a member of our board. We have an incredible foundation board here, and we appreciate so much what they do for us. They are instrumental in so many ways. Debbie's particularly helpful when we are trying to make our relationships better with Metro Council, because we know how much the mayor's office and Metro Council are part of our lives and how important they are to what we are doing here. So I'd like to bring up Councilman Anthony Piagentini. He's one of the biggest fans we have on Metro Council of the zoo, and we have many. Please bring him up, and we appreciate his support and Metro Council support.
Thanks very much. We appreciate it, brother. Thanks very much, Dan. So, like Dan, I'm a transplant to the state of Kentucky, coming from New Jersey, and I moved here a little over 10 years ago now. And I was working for a company, and I had a colleague of mine who were about the same age, and she had 2 young children, almost the exact same age as me. And I said to her, look, I'm new to town. I have no idea what I'm doing. What should I be doing? I got these 2.5-year-old twins. First words out of her mouth, get a membership to the zoo, right? And it was legitimately one of the best pieces of advice I got from anybody when I moved here. It's just such a family-friendly place. And now my kids are, they're 13 years old now. And, it doesn't, as they get older, they want to spend more time with their friends, go to football games and all this stuff. And personally, I'm like, hey, why don't we go to the zoo this weekend, right? I still want to come hang out here, right? So it's been great. But I'll tell you why she made that recommendation. It is because we have some of the best leadership and staff running a zoo of any zoo in this country, as far as I'm concerned. Dan's predecessor, John Walzak, did an outstanding job. Dan, he had huge shoes to fill coming in because John did such a wonderful job. But Dan, jumped into those shoes and started sprinting immediately. And we've been so proud and excited about that. And when you go through the budget process at Metro Council, you really dig into every department. And we look at how they spend capital dollars. So for my Senate colleagues, the zoo, better than any department, I would argue, in the city, executes and spends and does an outstanding job on capital projects. And the other thing they do an amazing job with is turnover. One of the things we look at is staff turnover. This department has consistently one of the lowest turnover rates in the city. And that has everything to do with the mission and the calling. It's certainly not because the staff here is making $1 million a year, okay? But it's because they have a passion and calling. And you can see it and feel it every time you come to the zoo. And that's what makes it so great. So I just want to give a big thanks to Dan and his team. And then finally, I'll just say so much thanks to my state colleagues, Senator Julie Radke Adams, of course, Senator Stivers, and all of our representatives in the state for for budgeting for this project. You know, the zoo, this is the official zoo of the Commonwealth, right? So this is not just for the citizens of Louisville. We were talking as we were driving up that the zoo tracks the zip codes that come here and come and visit the zoo. And they literally come from all over the Commonwealth and southern Indiana as well. So I'm just looking forward to having this great exhibit that highlights that fact, that this is the zoo of the Commonwealth, and getting more people to enjoy this city, to enjoy the zoo, and to enjoy this attraction. So thank you very much to our Senate partners. Again, thank you to Dan and the staff at the zoo. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. And as a fellow New Jerseyan, we were both speaking earlier, we don't understand why tomorrow's not a national holiday. It's Bruce Springsteen's birthday. I don't understand why that hasn't happened yet, but we'll work on that. We'll make that for next year's plan. We appreciate the acknowledgement of our team. Our staff members are remarkable. They are mission driven. They are dedicated, and they're here every day. We don't. Even if the zoo has to close for an ice storm, we are here. People will stay overnight. And I want to make sure all our staff members, please just raise your hand back there. Anybody, all our staff. I'm very, very proud to be part of this team. Wanted to recognize Commissioner Rich Storm, Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife. Commissioner just arrived, Commissioner. And Kevin Kelly from Wildlife as well. Also, Avery and Phoebe are here as well, and that's even more exciting. That is his daughters. Cheryl Snyder has been at the helm of our foundation board for quite a few years now. We keep on extending his term. We're trying our best to figure out a way to make him a lifetime foundation chair, but he's trying his best to pass it on. Cheryl does a remarkable job for us. He's well respected in this community. He uses influence to the benefit of the zoo, and we are forever grateful for what he's done for us. Cheryl Snyder.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Zoo Foundation, I just want to say thank you to Senator Stivers and Senator Rocky Adams. Senator said this line item was added to the budget during the conference committee. I know there were people in that room in addition to the two of them that supported this, but they're the ones that had the clout that got it done. So thank you very much, both of you. I also want to thank Mayor Fisher, who's been a stalwart supporter of the zoo all 3 terms, and his administration took care of us during the pandemic when we had a huge deficit, for which we are still appreciative. And of course, he added $5 million to the Metro budget this year with a footnote for $5 million more next year. So thank you, Mayor Fisher, as well. And then, of course, that budget got passed by the Metro Council. So thanks to the Metro Council for their support. Thank you.
The $5 million match that the mayor championed for this project and the state appropriation puts us in a position of strength that we've never, ever enjoyed. It's an opportunity for us to go into a capital project with the kind of momentum that you can only dream about. Mayor Fisher not only has been an advocate for the zoo, but he was instrumental in getting me hired here. So thanks a lot, Mayor. I appreciate that very much. Without further ado, Mayor Greg Fisher.
Well, there's a lot of love to go around at an event like this because it requires so many people to make this happen. But before I get into a little more detail, I want to just sing my praises for the staff again, because Dan, you said they're here all day, and then you said a little bit at the night. I mean, these guys, you all are 24/7, as you know. And it's just so fun to come here and talk to our teammates that work here at the zoo because of the unending passion you have for what you do. When you think about it, this is like a really unusual job in our city. And so for you all to have the match here and just keep this place running so smoothly, I really, really appreciate it. When you think about what the zoo is here, I mean, it's our largest animal wellness center in the city. 1,100 rare and exciting animal residents. One who was visiting with us earlier was kind of licking their chops, Senator, Mr. President, when you were up here, so they might be looking for the extra 15 million for this project. That'd be, and it's just it's a great botanical center. It's a great conservation center. It just reminds us of the beautiful world that we live in, that we got to focus on keeping beautiful and sustainable each and every day, and the zoo does that for us. Almost 1 million visitors will be coming through the zoo in the not too distant future. Dan, I know you'll rise to that challenge as well. But it's just something that we see as central to what we're doing here as the city, and just continue to support it in so many ways. A lot goes on at the zoo. Just in the last 12 years, we've opened the Snow Leopard Pass and the PNC Cub House. The Colobus Crossing brought 2 new species to the zoo. The Harry Fraser Elephant Encounter and Exhibit was expanded. Penguin Cove, the Little Penguin Conservation Center, was open. The Sloth Exhibit and Encounter. We launched the Community Access Membership to help low-income families experience the zoo. Celebrated the zoo's 50th anniversary in 2019, right before the pandemic started. And we raised money for wildlife and the wildfires in Australia and for animal shelters during the Kentucky tornadoes in December of 21. So we've got a lot going on here at the zoo, and always are going to have going on, because we've got to keep it interesting. But it is not hard to do with these beautiful animals and celebrities that we have here. When we just took the tour back here, I joked to Senator Stivers, I said, kind of looks like where you come from, doesn't it? And he says, yeah, it looks like my backyard. But so it's going to be beautiful for Louisvillians to come here, and they'll see Kentucky trails if they can't get out to the rest of our state. Because if you ever want to see something beautiful, go out to eastern Kentucky and see the elk roaming the countryside. It just takes your breath away. And so now more people can come from around the world to see what the full state of Kentucky looks like. So we're very grateful for that. I'm really grateful for the Kentucky General Assembly's $10 million investment here. $10 million here, $10 million down to Waterfront Park as well. $10 million, Senator, was it $10 million for the West End Opportunity Partnership? Was that this budget cycle or the other one? This one? Yeah. You know, so we're talking about significant investments. And when I harassed Julie Rocky Adams, Senator Adams, when she's on her drive to Frankfurt, we focus on what are the critical few that can really make a difference in the city. So you can see these 3 projects and more that's included in the budget. And we've been blessed with good budgets here the past year or two, which we haven't been blessed with for a long time. So it's really great to see us be able to make some big project leaps forward with this. So the city then obviously is proud to participate in these projects as well. $5 million has been noted before, $5 million match. The council, thank you, Councilman. We like to put these matching grants out there. And I think it helps the Zoo Foundation Board so that they can say, you know, your dollars will be doubled if you participate in all these. So this is a super strong role position to be in, as you've mentioned, Dan, to go now to our larger foundations and other donors and say, we're halfway through. We're not looking for the first dollar on this. So I just really want to thank the General Assembly, the governor, everybody who saw fit to put this in the budget. So it takes a great team to get these done. This will be the kind of project we'll be coming back at for decades to come, and just saying, wonderful partnership, wonderful project, and we love our Louisville Zoo. Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The area directly behind us, down that hill, that's where part of Kentucky Trails will go. That's the expanse. We see, and I think you can feel it, and you can see by the participation today that preserving our natural heritage and conserving our wild places, whether it's you want to hike or hunt or fish or do canoeing or whatever else, this is one of the great ecumenical topics of our time. This brings people together. It's a common ground for us all, and we give our guests the opportunity to contribute to our conservation funding. That's how we 25 cents from every paid admission, $1 from every membership, the opportunity to round up your purchase at points of sales. This goes to our conservation funding, and that's what we're using. At least a quarter of that, at least 25% of that funding is going towards regional conservation. We are also giving people, our guests, the opportunity to contribute right now in this period of time, because we are helping the shelters in the animal shelters in eastern Kentucky because of the flooding, just like we did with the tornadoes in western Kentucky. I am proud to be here. I'm grateful to President Stivers, to Senator Julie Rocky Adams, to the Metro Council with Councilman Anthony Piagentini representing the council, and I'm especially grateful to Mayor Fisher and the administration who supports us every day here at the Louisville Zoo and Gardens. I was at Jacksonville for the last 11 years. Sorry. So I think with that we can take some questions, I believe. Is that correct, Angela? The Kentucky Trails. The way it would work is when we have about 2/3 of the funding we would need, we break ground. If we can bend time and space, it'll be sometime in 2025. But we just, the bids for the designs are just due in the next few days, and so then we'll start the design process in a real serious way. Well, with the General Assembly's wisdom, and the mayor and his administration, that gives us halfway home for about the $30 million. That's what we're guessing, though we don't know for sure. With that, I think we'll conclude. There are refreshments and it's air conditioned in there. Please go in and help yourself. Thank you all for coming out today.